What do Tony the Tiger, a wildlife refuge outside of New Orleans, and John Wayne have in common? Well, they've all got ties to Disney World's Magic Kingdom, and I'm going to tell you how right now. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog. Disney World is full of amazing hidden details and some trivia-worthy history. And today we're uncovering some of the things you never knew about Magic Kingdom. Our team did some deep dives for this one. These are not the same things you've heard a million times over. And I've got to admit, I learned a thing or two while making this video. So let's see how many of these secrets are new to you. First up, the Jungle Cruise's first script change. So if you've been on the Jungle Cruise, chances are you know about Trader Sam. He's the guy with the multiple shrunken heads. Well, he didn't always go by Trader Sam. That was the name of his cousin over in Disneyland. When the Jungle Cruise opened in Magic Kingdom, an initial script just called the Headhunter Chief, with name in parentheses, so skippers could call him whatever they wanted. Skippers are known for their puns and off-the-cuff humor, and some of them thought it would be clever to just call him Chief Na Me. Get it? Now, in the early 2000s, the script was changed in Magic Kingdom to maintain consistency, and Chief Na Me was changed back to Trader Sam. Chief Na Me isn't completely gone, though. At Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar over in Disneyland, you can find a photo of Chief Na Me hung on a wall that says Trader Sam's cousin, Chief Na Me, along with Na Me's umbrella and a note saying it needs to be returned to him. All right, now I know a lot of you guys have been talking about how expensive Disney World has gotten. So let's take a trip back in time and talk about the original pricing for the Magic Kingdom. Back in 1971, when Magic Kingdom first opened, the price for a ticket was just $3.50. This included a coupon that entitled you to use the trams, monorail, or ferry boats. If you adjust that for inflation, that's still just $22.50 today. Now, if you wanted to actually ride anything, you'd need to purchase adventure ticket books. Tickets for the tamest rides in the park were known as A tickets. This included the Carousel as well as the cutting-edge E ticket rides like Jungle Cruise and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Ticket books usually consisted of 7 to 12 rides, and each ride cost 10 to 90 cents. That's $3.50 to get you in the park, but then you'd still need to shell out a few more bucks if you wanted to get on the rides. By the time Epcot opened in 1982, ticket books were done away with in favor of single park admission. Could you imagine pricing out how many times you'd want to ride Slinky Dog Dash? All right, now this one's really, really cool. The Haunted Mansion's Hearse was featured in a John Wayne film. You can see movie props all over Walt Disney World, but there's one hanging out right in front of the Haunted Mansion that you might not know about. The hearse in front of this ride, pulled by a ghost horse, was featured in the 1965 John Wayne film The Sons of Katie Elder. The hearse first appeared in the Magic Kingdom in 1995. It had been purchased originally for an Indiana Jones stunt show in Disneyland, but the idea was scrapped and the prop was sent to Disney World. All right, now this is one of my absolute favorites, especially since we're at the Disney Food Blog. And it's a special secret you can find in Be Our Guest Restaurant. So walking into Be Our Guest Restaurant feels like you're walking right into Disney's Beauty and the Beast film. There's so much detail in this restaurant and 3 differently themed rooms. The Rose Gallery features a huge music box with Belle and the Beast. The West Wing is dark and spooky with the enchanted rose that sheds petals as you dine, and a magical portrait that switches from the Beast to the Prince, and the Ballroom, which features huge floor-to-ceiling windows with a hidden secret. These windows project falling snow, but this isn't just any snowfall. It's the exact animation that was used in the film. Guests are meant to feel like they are dining in a castle in snowy France rather than hot and humid Florida. But when you look at that snow, you're looking at the actual animation cells from the film, so you literally are walking into the movie. Now here's a secret about Magic Kingdom that a lot of people don't realize. Walt Disney never actually saw opening day. Walt Disney built the Walt Disney Animation Studios from the ground up after filing bankruptcy, and 32 years later he opened Disneyland, a completely new take on amusement parks. Disneyland was designed to be a place for parents and their children to visit and enjoy themselves together. But things weren't always smooth sailing, and Disneyland didn't end up as the perfect theme park that Walt had imagined, so he set his sights on something larger, Disney World. Disney World was the culmination of Walt's biggest ideas, with plenty of room to grow, but he would never actually see its completion. Walt Disney was diagnosed with lung cancer in November of 1966 and died just 1 month later. This was 5 years before Disney World would open, but Walt's brother Roy came out of retirement and took over the Florida project. He is the one who also gave it the full name Walt Disney World to honor and celebrate his brother's dream. Now, we just told you about the Haunted Mansion ghost carriage prop, but did you also know that Madame Leota is played by a Disney legend in the attraction? The Imagineer Leota tombs brought Disney attractions to life, like the classic It's a Small World, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, Pirates of the Caribbean, and of course the Haunted Mansion. Leota helped to test out the crystal ball technology by posing as the disembodied head. It went so well that they kept her as Madame Leota's face and named the character after her. The voice for the character is done by Eleanor Audley, who also voiced Lady Tremaine and Maleficent. Though her voice was replaced for Madame Leota, you can still hear the voice of Leota Toombs on Haunted Mansion. She's that little tiny lady at the very end of the ride asking you to bring your death certificate. Now, can you name Magic Kingdom's oldest attraction? We're not just talking about opening day attractions, we're talking literally the oldest attraction. Well, Prince Charming Regal Carousel, just behind Cinderella Castle in Magic Kingdom, is about 54 years older than the park. It was built in 1917. This carousel was built by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company and began its life as Liberty Carousel in Belle Isle Park in Detroit, Michigan. The carousel was then moved to Olympic Park in Maplewood, New Jersey, where it remained for 39 years. Disney acquired the carousel and changed its theme to the story of Cinderella, which is what we know it as today. There are 90 horses on this carousel, and no two are exactly alike, but there's one special horse hidden among them. One horse has a gold ribbon in its tail, and that's Cinderella's horse. It's 3 rows in front of the only sleigh on the carousel, right in the middle. Disney hasn't officially confirmed this hidden detail, but it's a commonly repeated secret, and this is the only horse with some extra bling, so even if it's not Cindy's, it's still a little special. All right, speaking of old stuff in the Magic Kingdom, that big old live oak in the middle of Magic Kingdom's Liberty Square is not just a fake. It's actually well over 130 years old. The tree was found on Disney property about 8 miles from Magic Kingdom and took over a year of preparation to move to its current location. Holes had to be drilled into the trunk of the 38-ton tree to lift it and move it to Liberty Square. The tree commemorates the original Liberty tree that stood in Boston, and the one in Magic Kingdom holds 13 lanterns that represent the original 13 colonies. All right, are you ready for a little nostalgia? Next, we're going to talk about some lost lands. A lot of you probably remember Mickey's Toontown Fair, which was located where New Fantasyland currently lies. But did you know this land went through several name changes and was meant to be a temporary addition to the park? Mickey's Birthday Land opened June 18th of 1988 as part of a year-long celebration of Mickey's 60th birthday. This was meant to be a temporary land but stayed because it was so popular. In 1990, it became Mickey's Starland before changing to Mickey's Toyland in late 1995. The land underwent some more significant construction and returned as Mickey's Toontown Fair in 1996, which was meant to be the vacation home of all the Disney characters who resided in Disneyland's Toontown over in California. Mickey and Minnie both had country houses in Toontown Fair, but those were demolished along with Donald's boat. But Goofy's coaster, the Barnstormer, is still in the park in what is now Storybook Circus. The characters may have lost their vacation homes, but Disneyland's Toontown is still around. Okay, now this next one is going to help you stay a little bit more dry in Disney World. If you've ever found yourself waiting for your friends and family outside of Splash Mountain because you weren't in the mood to get wet, you'll want to know about this one. The bridge right in front of the ride is a great spot to wait and watch those logs plummet down that 50-foot drop. But if you want to stay dry, you should be careful on that bridge. About every third log that makes the drop, a water cannon shoots out an extra bit of water to splash unsuspecting onlookers. You won't get soaked, but it's pretty surprising and unexpected if you're not ready for it. Now, does this happen all the time? No, it happens when it's really hot out. And when that water might be a welcome respite from what's going on in the Orlando weather, but just be aware it can happen at any time. Okay, we're back in Liberty Square for this next one. And this is, of course, home of that famous brown river that you can learn more about in some of our other videos on the secrets of Magic Kingdom. But for a less toilet-themed historical accuracy note, check out the addresses on the houses in this land. Each address is just 2 digits, but if you add 18 to the front of it, it becomes a year in the 1800s, and that style of architecture represents what was being built at the time. Now that's a little tip I had no idea about, so props to our Disney food blog researchers for finding that one. I'm going to go check that out in Magic Kingdom next time I'm there for sure. And still in Liberty Square is also home to the replica of the Liberty Bell. But this isn't just a well-made Imagineered copy. This bell is cast from the same mold that created the actual Liberty Bell. The mold is owned by Picard Foundry of France, who created a new replica of the Liberty Bell in 1987 just for Walt Disney World. Liberty Square's bell arrived in 1989, just in time for the park's 4th of July celebration. This is one of 2 Liberty Bell replicas that you'll find in the state of Florida. The other is at the Liberty Bell Memorial Museum in Melbourne, Florida. Okay, this next one is one of my absolute favorites, the Magic Kingdom train station lost and found. The Walt Disney World Railroad may still be closed as construction continues on the Tron coaster, but you can still check out the Main Street train station and find this next hidden detail. On the lower level of the station, you'll see a lost and found area that's filled with forgotten items from Disney characters. See if you can spot Aladdin's lamp, Winnie the Pooh's honey pot, and a few other lost items. And over in the Frontierland station, you'll see some more items from Disney films in the Lost and Found, like a wooden leg named Smith, which of course is a joke from Mary Poppins. Okay, our next hidden secret, the many voices of Thurl Ravenscroft. Who's Thurl Ravenscroft? Well, Disney legend Thurl Ravenscroft has an iconic voice that you've probably heard hundreds of times, but may not have realized it's all the same guy. Thurl Ravenscroft sang for and narrated dozens of Disney films from 1940 to 1999, though he's largely uncredited in his singing roles. He's also the original voice of Tony the Tiger, but you'll more likely remember his voice from The Grinch, for which he is also uncredited, singing "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." Thurl Ravenscroft's voice can be heard all over Magic Kingdom. He provides the voice for Fritz in the Enchanted Tiki Room, as well as some of the Tiki masks, the Buffalo Head in Country Bear Jamboree, and Big Al's Laugh, the singing bullfrogs in Splash Mountain, and many of the singing pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean. You'll also see his face on one of the singing busts in the Haunted Mansion. He's the broken one lying on the ground. People often think this is a bust of Walt Disney because the two men had similar mustaches, but nope, it's Thurl. Okay, this one's super cool that I didn't know either. Over in Storybook Circus, the Casey Jr. Splash and Soak Station, the kids' splash pad, has some hidden details on the train cars. Each train car has a 2-digit number, 71, 81, 89, and 98. These numbers represent, of course, the year each of the 4 Walt Disney World theme parks opened. Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, Epcot in 1982, Hollywood Studios, then of course MGM Studios in 89, and Animal Kingdom in 1998. And for our next hidden secret, we're heading over to Carousel of Progress. Carousel of Progress has a lot of hidden details, including a bunch of hidden Mickeys, a famous bird, and an animatronic you may have seen before. In the last scene alone, you'll spot at least 4 hidden Mickeys, like those salt and pepper shakers on the kitchen counter. Also, look out the window for a robin sitting on a branch in the first scene. That bird was in Mary Poppins. As for that animatronic, the grandmother can also be seen in the ballroom of the Haunted Mansion. Now, Disney often reuses animatronics. You can see a few from the Hall of Presidents over in Epcot's Spaceship Earth. And next we're going to talk about the most important part of the Magic Kingdom, the inspiration for Cinderella Castle. The centerpiece of Magic Kingdom, Cinderella Castle, by the way, it's not Cinderella's castle, it is Cinderella Castle, draws inspiration from some real-life castles around the world. The main design of the castle is drawn from the Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria, Germany. You can actually fly over this castle on Epcot's Soarin' Around the World. Mosna Castle in Poland and Notre Dame influenced the design of the spires. Versailles and several other French castles served as an inspiration for other elements of Cinderella Castle, including the stained glass windows. Now, what if that castle and all of Magic Kingdom were in a completely different state? Well, let's talk about that for a second. When Walt was scouting locations for Disney World, Florida was not his first choice. It was actually Louisiana. Walt was eyeing land about 40 minutes outside the city of New Orleans in what is now a wildlife refuge. Purchasing the land in Louisiana started to get complicated after people found out who was looking to buy, and Walt decided to start scouting new locations. He created fake company names to purchase land without paying a premium, just because he was Walt Disney, and was able to get 27,000 acres of land before anyone caught on in Florida. And here's another nod to Magic Kingdom's first year. The Main Street USA fire station, right at the entrance of the Magic Kingdom, may not be quite as interesting as its Disneyland counterpart, which is of course home to Walt's apartment in the park. But there's still a little nod to Disney history in this one. The fire station is named Engine Company 71, which is in honor of the opening year of Walt Disney World, 1971. Now, speaking of the opening of Walt Disney World and the opening of Magic Kingdom, let's talk about how Disney World avoided the same kind of opening day disaster Disneyland experienced. Opening day in Disneyland was a huge disaster. Rides were breaking down, the cement was still wet, and 30,000 people showed up when they only expected 15,000. The park was completely overwhelmed with the unanticipated guest numbers, so when Disney World opened, they took a much slower approach. Big media events and park dedications were postponed until after the official opening day to help keep initial crowds lower and not have a repeat of what happened in Disneyland. News outlets were reporting that there could be anywhere from 100,000 to 300,000 people arriving for opening day at the park, but only 10,000 showed up, which is a much more manageable number. And finally, let's talk about another opening day attraction that actually wasn't. Peter Pan's flight may have opened on day one in Disneyland, but it's not an opening day attraction in Disney World. The Magic Kingdom version of the ride opened 2 days after the park's grand opening, so while it's one of the oldest rides in the park, it's not officially an opening day attraction. Now there's a piece of trivia that I bet none of your Disney fan friends know. There's so much history in the Disney parks and so many hidden details. We could make full videos on just Liberty Square alone. It is always really fun as someone who knows so much about Disney World to learn some new little known facts. So I hope you guys learned something new about Magic Kingdom today. Now, we have also done another video about hidden secrets in the Magic Kingdom that has a lot more common hidden secrets and facts about the Magic Kingdom. If you want to go check out that video as well, there's a lot in there that you can learn about Disney World's first park. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.